Hello, hello. Say hello. All right. Hello. Oh shit. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh. La 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 la. Okay. Sure. I believe it. Oh. Mm, mm, Yes, man. Yes. My please. Please. Id. Of course. Oh. Uh, oh. Huh? Yeah. What the fuck is this? I think this one's fine. Haru. Oh yeah. He's Haru. Wait. Okay. Pickles. Ooh. Mm. Hmm. Like make live. Hmm. Name adventurer. Adventurer. Oh wait a minute. Oh. 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 Jesus. The fucking bush. Oh. Nothing talks. Huh? There we go. It's a fine pirate indeed. Fine. Oh, fine. Host the game. Hey, fine. Archipelago. Ended intros experience. You show no mercy. I see. This option is on. This option is on tables, markers, part of the world name. Oh, I'll put world thing. Uh, boarding the. All right. Confirmed. Oh, confirmed. Oh, oh. Edward Teach Blackbeard proclaims himself to be king of the pirates of the West Indies. The spread that he struck a bargain with the devil and saves the dead. After crushing the British fleet, Teach turns his forces towards Tortuga, the last bastion of freedom, independence in the Caribbean. Yeah, fuck it. But just a few days later, you up in your cabin, Elijah, under attack, via broadside, everything. Escape your adventure. Wake up in your cabin, ashes and fevers, and this pounding vision doubles at the back of your head. There's a big lump on the back of your head. The last thing you remember is the deck lurching under your this all strike the line. Your ship is under attack. You need to get out of the cabin before just one to draw your saber. Yeah. Just do. Oh. What to do? Speak to the ship's doctor. Doctor! Doctor! Oh, he's dead. Doctor? Oh, here's the doctor. Captain, thank goodness. We've been looking everywhere for you. I was just right in the next room. Get the details, Doc. How bad is it? Blackbeard's pirates are boarding us. They are everywhere. Half the crew's dead, but remarkably, some are still fighting. Go help the others. Perhaps you may yet turn the tide. I've got coffee. Don't know what that does. A hard fight lies ahead. Your vision is still swimming after concussion. Drink some of the coffee to rouge yourself. I'd rather have some rum. It's whatever. Heavy attack? Okay. The end of the body? Doctor, what? Really dead. Head to the upper deck. Jesus. Are you okay? Get back to work, Jim. On the artifact. He was on the ship. Think it down my throat. Something's definitely not right. Get Richard to handle. Off my ship, you dogs. They're fucking Sasuke. Ninja shit. This isn't pirates anymore. What is that? Fog. I've been shot. Why aren't you consider yourself opposed, Captain? Take the artifact. Devil, take it, Captain. The filth is eating and Holy Mary protect us. Not with your bare hands, you. Throw the bodies overboard, we're leaving. Your adventure. uh, uh, those human. This looks like Cuba. Just a little bit. Shooting requires bullets and compound. No shit, really. Um, Wake up on a deserted island. Waves just walk. Get your body from your heart with placed patterns. Light. Figure out where you are while you're alive. Detailed. Alright. It's a scavenging. That's beach. I'm gonna show you this light the bonfire. Clear progress. Just in the journal. Build the bonfire by switching to construction. Shit. Oh, we're eating you. We are definitely eating you. Stone axe. Such a beauty. Check it, girl. Jesus. Jesus. Died? Fucking birds? Three plus. That's my shit. Oh. Alright. Discovery. Resource discoverers. Adventure. Bonfire. The bonfire will be the heart of my camp. I need to pick a good spot with enough space around building a okay. A good spot. Over here. Nice big area. What's this? Testament. Oh! Oh, yeah. 15 men on a dead man's chest. Yo. That's travel bell. Build a fire here. How do I do it? You can build a bonfire by switching to construction mode and key. Alright. Build a cooking fire. Press B to enter building mode. Select structure. Oh. Cooking fire. Okay. Press E A E. Enough resources still. I need that. There you go. Windows? Okay. Lawnmower. Stamina. What is this? That. Oops. my sure effect. Discovery. Fast travel bell. New building. History. History. Billboard obtained inspired. Used to build a fast travel. Oh. Oh. Wood. Absolutely. What? Oh. Jesus. Christ. Good. Just keep cutting, just keep cutting. Oh, you're taking it. Oh, taking it. Look at that. Hey, boy, and it's high. Mm. We need stone. Take this. Nice. Nice big rocks. What is this? Being stumped. Let's cut it. Which with the muscle. Yeah. Alright. Huh? Yeah. It's been my camp so far. I find a board. What's it called? Is it what? Awesome. The next bully at the bully at the eliminate the partner. Yeah. Oh. Let's see if I could go sleep and wake up. Survival. All I can do. Oh, fuck you. Full space station. Oh, that bag this. Oh, fuck you. New building element. Is this Stallion? Stallion. It's correctable when you go to sea, be ready to lose an arm and a leg in your life if the hurricane give me bloody weather. It's got me well and truly stopped, but that's no matter. It's just buried unless filthy bums equally they can go to hell. Now they will guard my gold. And let 14 pirate promise. Agile. Library. Mine. Church. I'm gonna make it daytime. Well, inside the camp area again. Oh. Why can't I sleep? Tired. Mystical quest to the art of Fortuna. fucking boy. Oh, that is it. Rough hide. Find the I need a dig or something. Couple. Jesus. It's powder. Fuck. That is a huge fucking crab. Holy shit. Jesus. Whoops. Ah. This is... I'm not over there. Okay. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Nice. Build structure. What? The frame. I'll build a... What is that? A zombie? Fucking zombies? Ooh. Oh, I take them. Bullets are gunpowder, I have bullets. And gunpowder. 50 zombies. What's up, zombie? Jesus. Jesus. Ah! There you go. God! Why am I so brittle? Christ. Let's find this one. Arm ammo. Build them. Okay. Now I need to buy this 250 fiber. Good. Not bad. I'll just make the smaller one. Oh. Like two berries. Oh boy. Great. Oh fuck. Got no gunpowder. Figure out how to make gunpowder. Let me see. Powder. Oh. Animal fat. I need gunpowder. Oh. It's on top of me. Hey. With the bear. Be able to make it daytime now. Alright. Anything else? Oh, I think copper. Where the fuck did I get copper from? Bots. Oh. Oh, it requires a roof. Great, now how do I move it then? I'll go destroying everything. Oh, I don't really need this one. Rough hide. Hmm. The destroy. Build a ramp. All right. Focus. Freaking thing. Okay. Good. Yeah. Alright, new quest of the journal. Among the wreckage on the shore, I found a pirate skeleton outlined buried chest of gold and a pirate's chest. Hurry! With a shovel? Maybe the pickaxe shouldn't be? Huh. What is this? Anything else? There. Rum. Oh. There's enormous stuff. Like an accent crowd or something. Skeleton. Oh, yes. Schematic feels very similar. Oh, cool. Um, oh, that Look at that note that I had. I should have read it. Just damn it. Alright. And fra. Fuck. Oh yeah. Stamina. Oh, I think. We're in the nearest cave. Uh, where's that fucking map? Who knows? Okay. Should have read the. Wait. I can rewind the stream and look. There it is. Okay. Bill can stay put for now. It gives me time to come up with a suitably tear-soaked tale for the brethren, blah blah blah. If only the winds died down, the howl bends the palms so fiercely that I start seeing I hadn't killed my own men, watching me live. Damn, the camera's away. Put to journal. Put to journal. Okay. Journal. What fucking journal? Oh. It's just a quest. Among the wreckage of the shore from a note lying nearby mentioning a buried chest of gold. Find the pirate's chest. The pirate was kind enough to note where he'd hidden the chest. You best check the spot. I did. I don't fucking see it. This is the spot. I'm supposed to dig. Around with it. Don't get it. I think I'm gonna have to Google this shit. This area too. Build a shovel or something? Oh. Roof.
Still staying up late gaming solo? With Hacko AI, get the ultimate companion for your playtime.
I know.
Oh, no shit.
If you're stuck on the 15 men on a dead man's chest quest,
Yeah.
the game leaves out one crucial detail. You actually need a shovel to finish
Okay,
it.
of
Before you head out,
course.
make sure you've crafted a shovel, which you can craft at your camp. Once you have it equipped, head to the exact quest.
Okay, shovel. I didn't see that. I didn't see anywhere where there's like you can build a shovel. Must have missed it. Ooh. Jesus. Christ. Bitch. Shovel. Where? Stone pickaxe. Where am I? Where is the shovel? Workbench. I don't fucking see a goddamn shovel. Pickaxe. Repair kit. Oh. Oh god, how do you build a goddamn shovel?
If you're stuck on to the dig option, and then dig up that dirt patch, be sure to leave a like and guides. Quest, the game leaves out one crucial detail. You actually need a shovel to finish it. Before you head out, make sure you've crafted a shovel, which you can craft at your camp. Once you have it equipped, head to the exact quest marker on the map, mouse over to the dig option, and then dig.
To build shovel. Ooh. How to craft a shovel. Gotta be missing something.
Hello guys, what I'm gonna show you today is how you can craft the
Oh
shovel
my
in
god.
Ringroads, okay? If you
Okay.
want to dig up the hidden treasure in the Traveler's Camp
Is
to
this
get
guy
the
for
red
real?
ear of 1,000 cats, you're going to need a shovel. However, the game does not just hand you one, and you cannot just make it out of simple good. So
Ah.
today, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can
Oh
craft it.
God,
It's
please.
gonna take a few steps, okay, but just follow along because it's actually quite complicated. So, guys, the first thing we need to do is to get ourselves a stone pickaxe. So we're just gonna come to the workbench in here, like the standard workbench in our bonfire. I'm gonna
Okay.
use it and I'm gonna get my stone pickaxe. As you can see, you're gonna need some stone and you're also gonna need some wood. So
Some
we can just
good?
craft it in here. Okay, now we're gonna equip this stone pickaxe and we're gonna head ourselves to basically the copper deposit or any mine really, okay? But this is the most easiest one in the main island.
Oh
First
God, I
way to
gotta go
get
to the mine and get copper. Jesus. What is this guy for real? Why is he talking like that? What the fuck?
yourself like a lot of copper basically. You're just gonna head up to this cave as you can see and you're gonna bunch or you can just carry like a bunch of copper ores.
Yeah, fuck it. Oh my God. Okay, I gotta go get the copper. I gotta get copper. I gotta go get copper. Copper mine. Okay. Okay, like, okay. Okay, I gotta go get copper. Okay. Slurp? Alright. What the fuck? At the end of the novel, it's like it's okay, guys. Like, what are we doing with all this copper? Okay, what's the copper mine? Oh my God. Are there enemies in here? Oh shit. Ooh. Can pick out the walls? Or Seriously. Blinking out. Oh. Alright. Running, no place to hide. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, the doctor.
Improvement is never linear.
What the fuck?
Captain,
Oh, thank God it's you. You cannot imagine how glad I am to see you, Captain. You hired me, but the day before we sailed is. You hired me, but a day before we sailed, so allow me to introduce myself once again. Alan Skeleton, ship surgeon. I am truly delighted you survived. This is a hell of a surprise. I don't know. And move fucker. I found up here. After the boarding, the pirates dragged me to their camp to stitch wounds, treat hangovers. Fortunately, I managed to commandeer a boat and escape. Luckily, I ran into you. Sticking together gives us a fighting chance. Please let me. Alright, make yourself comfortable, but I've got a few questions. You managed to escape. Any ideas? Not far from here, I saw a few ships running around. Some of them still look salvageable. Even so, managed to repair us with just two of us. Be a tall task. Miracles do indeed happen, but without a cup of coffee, I can hardly capable. Pirates, prisoner, must free them, help repair a ship, and earn us by rescuing. Okay. Um. Ooh. Oh. 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 Melting. Charcoal container. Oh, I need clay. Where the fuck do I get clay? Clay on make another box. Yeah. Where do you get play? Managed to let's see, boy. Now you can call your boats. You call your boat.
Let's cover. One of our 10 pro tips for working with Cursor Agent.
Alright. Alright, motherfucker. Go back to daytime. Hunger. Let me find some play. Yes. What's with this? Plane's not doing the grant? Ooh. Doctor. Mm. Pickaxe. Wonder if I can watch a YouTube video.
That led to some good outcome. Is it really morally acceptable for a president?
That he's talking about. I'm pretty sure in yours he addressed the fact that Ron Watkins was the crazy Q.
Calendar. It's like getting beat by Sleepy Joe, having a little bit of locker room talk with a bunch of guys. And I think what's also too is interesting to me about that Access Hollywood tape is the kind of revisionist history that a lot of people analyze it with. They make it seem as if he was saying that he would just randomly go and grab a woman, by her genitals. He never said that actually in that audio. He said that when you're rich and you're famous, women may be interested in allowing you to do that, or maybe, and by interested, I mean consensual. And so I think that, again, it's not what he said in that particular tape, But again, like I said, he made the case to the American people that these allegations were untrue. The American people believed him, and he was president not once, but twice.
Do you agree, though, that there's been, because you talk about due process, I'm a big believer in that as well. That's part of why I've been so critical of the Me Too of movement. But there's certainly been more due process showing responsibility that President Trump engaged in sexual abuse to a civil court. You're right, is a lower burden of proof than a criminal court, but it's still pretty significant finding. It's a jury considering the evidence and finding this person is more likely than not to have be responsible for this offense. Surely you would acknowledge that's more proof than there is against Eric Swalwell.
No, I wouldn't acknowledge that. I would say a jury in deep blue New York City would absolutely give Donald Trump a life sentence for jaywalking if they could. And so, no, I don't think that that's the same thing as what we're seeing from Eric Swalwell's accusers, the amount of proof that we're seeing, the condemnations that are coming on both sides of the aisle from folks who say, again, honestly, I don't have too hard of a time believing that. So I think these are apples to oranges comparisons. I think the civil trial is one of which a lot of those on the left have really tried to, use as a dagger, to President Trump's political career. But again, it didn't work for the American people because they saw through the BS. This was not a jury of President Trump's peers. Definitely not one that was unbiased against him. And so I think that's exactly why the American people saw it for what it was, which is a politically motivated attack.
Okay, I'll bring Stephen in here.
Well, I don't know how to respond to it. It's just I heard a whole bunch of appeals to due process, and then I heard Trump won the vote, so it's okay, and then I heard that Eric Swalwell should step down, even though there's been literally no due process. I don't.
Do you think he shouldn't?
Do you think that Gonzalez shouldn't have waited for Swalwell to step down before he did? I'm just saying there's been due process on Trump.
Gonzalez. I've long opposed him, supported his primary opponent, Brandon Herrera, who will be a great congressman.
Nobody. I didn't ask what your personal opinion was on it. I'm asking, like, would it have been the right thing for him to step down?
You asked me if I believe he should have resigned. I said yes.
So, do you condemn the Republican Party for not calling for his resignation?
I think many people do.
I'm sorry. Do you condemn the Republican Party for not calling for Tony Gonzalez to resign?
I think many people in the Republican Party called for Tony Gonzalez to resign and supported his opponent.
Did Mike Johnson?
He was defeated.
Did Johnson?
Defeated.
He wasn't defeated.
Primary
almost means he lost. Almost means he won. The other guy lost. Yeah.
He was forced into a runoff as an incumbent. There was obviously a lot of questions swirling around due to his affair with this particular staffer. He was held to account, and now he's out of office. So I think he did what we needed.
He wasn't held to account. It took multiple articles coming out, this woman killing herself, in order for him to finally resign. And the only reason he resigned was because he waited for Swalwell to do it first. So this
idea
like
they might expel him. There was
maybe
towards him being expelled.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I mean, like, his resignation came the day after Swalwell's, right? So I don't know. I just the Republicans just have zero standards when it comes to behavior or decency or anything. I mean, we saw that with Gates. We saw that with Gonzalez, and there's a reason why. We were talking earlier about how important due process was, but then as soon as it's a jury at a state that we don't like, well, now the due process doesn't matter. Or as soon as it's civil court instead of criminal court, now due process doesn't matter. And as long as somebody wins an election, due process doesn't matter either. So I don't know how to seriously engage with that type of mental gymnastics.
All right, let's give CJ a chance to respond then.
Well, I think it's pretty clear here. Again, Tony Gonzalez was almost forced out of office in 2024. It was forced into a runoff. He is now no longer a member of Congress. We've held our members to account. The Democrats did not do the same when it came to Joe Biden. He brought up the Terry allegation. He is still elected president of the United States. We didn't hear much from her after that. Y'all vilified her. Y'all called her a Russian asset, all of these things. But when it came to holding her own side to account with that, it didn't matter. Bill Clinton, the same thing. You want to talk about, Epstein files ad nauseum. Where's the accountability for him? Why is he still being, walked out on the campaign trail for prominent Democrat candidates all across the country? Why is he being invited to Democrat fundraisers to fundraise for the DNC? We're not just talking about the Epstein
quick question on that.
Okay.
So, Bill,
Broderick. We're talking about Paula. We're talking about many people that he victimized.
Wait, I missed that.
Some reason,
wait.
The heir to the throne, apparently.
Yeah, I missed that part. I'm sorry. Bill Clinton agreed to testify openly in front of the American people, in front of Congress. How many times has Donald Trump testified related to the Epstein stuff?
Bill Clinton agreed to testify because, again...
How many times has Trump testified with relation to the Epstein stuff?
God damn it.
Again, when...
Where did this fucking guy even come from?
Congress, and he's not been
Nobody is requested... Didn't Pam Bondi herself say that she wouldn't testify? Pam Bondi has been, yes.
No, has President Trump been, your question was about President Trump. Has President Trump been subpoenaed to testify in relation to the Epstein files?
I'm pretty sure they've requested that he speak. I don't know if he's been subpoenaed yet for it. I don't know if they
question.
can subpoena him for it. I don't know if you can subpoena the president for something. I'm pretty sure, can't you just claim executive privilege?
President, okay, but Bill Clinton was subpoenaed. Hillary Clinton was subpoenaed. So these, again, apples to oranges comparisons. Seeking
It's apples
to
to
make something
apples. They claim that they could make, they would have no problem doing the statements in front of the American people. Donald Trump will never testify to
Oh,
anything.
God.
It's like you have to drag him kicking and
They
screaming
were-
at everything.
They were under subpoena testing.
So, without distracting totally into kind of a separate Epstein Files conversation, I do wonder,
Jesus
CJ, because you just
Christ.
mentioned there are several serious
Fuck
accusations
this, fuck
against
all.
Bill Clinton, and obviously those are legitimate. But so there are 27 women that have accused President Trump of various forms of sexual misconduct, CJ. Do you think all 27 of them are lying?
You know, I don't know those women, and I don't know all their stories and all their allegations. But at the end of the day, what I do know is who President Trump is, and President Trump, I think, is a man of character, and I think the American people see him as that, which is why they sent him back to the White House. But what I do find interesting is the timing of these allegations. You know, this was someone that, you know, lived in the limelight, was a very successful person before he even ran for president. But it wasn't until he ran against the establishment, ran on holding them to account, draining the swamp, that all of these people came out of the woodworks to accuse him of these things. The same thing happened to Brett Kavanaugh.
So yes, then you think 27 are lying.
The man of
I
character
think
is the
that
one
I
who
don't-
cheated on all of his
I don't-
ex-wives?
Again, I don't know these women,
Man
and
of character?
honestly, cheating is something you probably shouldn't be weighing on, Destiny. But when it
I'm not the
comes to
president of
fact-
the United States. Do you want to say that we're morally
Right, well,
equivalent, me and Donald
again,
Trump?
I'm glad that you can hold other people to different standards.
Yeah, I would hold the
What I will
president of the United States to a
what I
different
will
standard
say-
than a YouTuber. I just want to be clear. You're
What
saying
I
that a
will
man who
say-
cheated on both of his ex-wives is a man of character in your eyes, right? Are you a Christian?
That's what you're saying.
No,
But
you
what
said
I
that
am
Donald
saying
Trump was a man of character, and that's why Republicans put him back in the White House. And I'm saying that he cheated on all of his ex-wives. Are you saying that's a man of character? Why can't you answer the question?
You don't have any proof of that beyond of some tabloid maybe.
Don't
that
he
you read.
literally
But
brought
what I
his
will-
mistress with him on vacation with his wife before they broke up a divorce? You don't think it's just a well-accepted fact? Why was he paying off Stormy Daniels? Do you think he was having sex with Stormy Daniels before they were? You think the Stormy? Do you think him having? Do you think he had sex with Stormy Daniels?
Do
Do you think he had sex with Stormy Daniels?
How much did she have to pay to President Trump for her lies?
Who? Stormy Daniels?
Yes.
She's the one who got paid for having sex with him and signing an NDA for it.
And then she was forced to pay legal fees and damages to the president as her case fell apart. And where is her lawyer now, by the way? Michael Avenatti, where is he?
Well, her lawyer is not related to her story. Hold on, I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear. First of all, I don't know what you're talking about. Did Donald Trump have sex with Stormy Daniels? Wait, I just want to hear this. I just want to hear this. Did Donald Trump have sex? We're not talking about Avenatti right now. We've pivoted
Alright,
off of a
guys,
pivot
guys,
off of a
guys,
pivot.
Do you wait? So
The
CJ,
MAGA stuff. Well, no, I want to know. Does he think that Donald Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels? Does he deny that Donald Trump cheated on all of his ex-wives?
Let's answer this. CJ, like yes or no, do you believe Donald Trump ever had a sexual relationship with
Yes or
Stormy
no?
Daniels?
I can't speak to that.
Oh my God.
I don't believe so. The president's
Okay.
denied it.
Well,
Why was he paying
you can
her
take him
so
at
much
his word
money
if you
then?
choose.
The president's denied it.
Wait, why was he paying off Stormy Daniels then? Was he buying a personal porn video?
Again, the
Oh
question
my
is
God,
whether or
any
not President
fucking
Trump engaged
bull.
in sexual relations with Stormy Daniels. The president has denied that consistently throughout the years. I trust
He'd
him, and I
never lie
trust him.
about anything.
Why did he pay her money? What was the payment for?
I don't work for the Trump organization. I can't.
It was
speak
a
to that, but what I
criminal
can
court
say-
case. He had 34
What I can
felony
do-
counts that he was
what I
convicted
can
for, and that's
do
in
is
criminal
answer
court, the one you like,
say-
not civil court.
A criminal court in New York with Attorney General Letitia James, who ran on saying, "I'm gonna get that MF."
She
Do you
got
think that's
him.
not political motivation?
I think
She got him?
I think he,
She got him?
a
Well,
jury
he wanted to
convicted
be
him.
governor, and where is she? No, they said that's
She
not a
doesn't control the
black
judge.
job.
She doesn't control the jury.
They said, no, go back
This
to
is
being
delusion.
Attorney General.
And then
The entire
now-
case fell apart.
This
And where
is
is he now?
delusional.
The White House.
That's true.
So-
It's a popularity
All right,
contest,
guys.
just like why the only reason Trump's ever been successful as a businessman is because he worked in entertainment. It's something to do with real estate. It has to do with The Apprentice.
Well, we don't need to relitigate Donald Trump's business successes or The Apprentice, which I don't think I've ever actually seen. I want to bring your attention to something else interesting, which maybe we could all agree this is a bad idea. Kamala Harris is considering running in 2028. She wants a second bite at the apple to potentially make her case. as to why she should be president of the United States. Because with Trump, of course, running again in 2028 with the 2028 hats, we could just run it all back. Now, obviously, that's probably not a real thing. Here is Kamala Harris speaking at a recent event where she suggested she may run for president again in 2028. Let's listen.
So, are you going to run again in 28?
Okay,
I tried to be subtle, but I just figured I'd go right at it.
That's as subtle as Reverend Al Sharpton could ever be. We love you for many things, but not being subtle. Listen, I might. I'm thinking about it.
All right, Stephen, I'll start with you, but does anyone really want this? I mean,
this is such a if she wants to run, let her run. We have a primary. If she doesn't make it through the primary, then we just won't vote for her. If she does, then she's the candidate. I don't understand why this is a big deal.
Well, I've already seen some people pointing to polling that shows she's got a significant constituency, and I just wonder, like, what is the appeal of the strategic thinking going into somebody who simultaneously has baggage that will alienate the progressive flank because of the Biden administration's positions on Gaza and other things, and baggage that will alienate moderates or independents because she has such a long track record, and then she just doesn't really have much political talent in any sense of some kind of generational talent. She's no Obama. She's not even a Gavin Newsom in terms of filling a room. Surely there's got to be much better options than Kamala 2028, Stephen.
I mean, there are other options. This is why you have a primary, right?
Right.
So if she wants to run in a primary, let her run in a primary. If she's as unpopular...
But is that not delusional, though, for her to even think that she should?
I mean, I would have said it was delusional for Trump to run for a third time after falsely claiming that 2020 was stolen from him and trying to insurrect the Capitol. But here we are in the midst of a second Trump presidency, in a second war in Iran. So hey, listen, people should dream big, I guess.
I guess you're actually you make a good point that in our current political climate, you really can never say never. And I do think that the Democrats are going to have wings at their back in 2028, whoever the nominee is, because of the pendulum swinging and people, especially souring on the Trump administration, Republicans, and him being term limited out. And yeah, I don't know. All right, CJ, your take on Kamala 2028. You seem excited.
I hope she runs. I'm super excited about it. I really hope she does run. And I think whether it's J.D. Vance at the helm of the ticket or Marco Rubio, I think either of them would wipe the floor with her. I don't think we've ever really seen, Kamala have to run through a spirited primary. We did that. She ran the first, and not even that far down my calendar. It's like getting beat by Sleepy Joe, I think, is embarrassing enough, but to get beat by President Trump, which was, an incredible feat, a historical feat, not only losing the Electoral College, but also losing the popular vote. He was the first Republican to win that in many elections. I think speaks to just how terrible the candidate she was. To remind you guys, this is the same Kamala Harris who had to use Barack Obama to browbeat black men into voting for her. And not because of her policies, not because that she actually was saying something that resonated with that community of people, with my community of people, but because out of obligation, we're supposed to support our sister Kamala, who spent her days as a DA locking up black men for smoking weed while she would go in the Breakfast Club to brag about how she used to smoke weed. So I don't really think that people are too fond of her, maybe too fond of her, because every time she opens her mouth, she, again, I think loses support. And I think that it's going to be a very spirited primary on that side. You've got Andy Bashir, you've got Wes Moore, who I think is very charismatic. You've got Gavin Newsom, who is just obviously not going to let this one go, is definitely going to run. But if I'm Gavin Newsom, I'm probably a little worried after this week's this week's news cycle, what's happened with Eric Swalwell. I think that Gavin Newsom obviously has cheated on his partner at the time with his campaign manager's wife. So I wonder what other stories may be out there about him. And I'm sure we'll see and what we'll see.
To be clear, though, there's no sexual harassment or assault allegations.
That we know of, yeah.
I love that he believes every single rumor and thing related to a Democrat, but for Donald Trump, who was literally paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to bang Stormy Daniels while his wife was at home with her newborn child, he's like, oh, I don't know if that actually happened. That's very funny to me.
I don't believe every rumor, but again, I'm not a member of the party that believes all women before the process or the active due process is able to take place.
There was due process on the Trump stuff, but you don't believe in the due. I don't know why you use the word due process. Why are you using the term due process? You don't believe in due process.
You do belong to that party, Destiny. And Gavin Newsom, if he is faced with these allegations of these, accusations of wrongdoing,
hypothesizing allegations that don't exist.
He's going to have to defend that to Democrat primary voters who are not very gracious when it comes to this sort of thing. So.
Nice. So I don't know why you're saying due process when you don't believe in due process, but yeah.
Well,
I do believe in due process, so. And
but
I think
you're very skeptical of both civil and criminal jury findings.
Yeah.
Well, that's not you being skeptical of due process, it's you being skeptical of the differences and burdens of proof that are required for a criminal court and a civil court. That's just a matter of
Yeah, but Trump was found criminally liable for 34 felonies, but you don't like that criminal finding because it was in New York.
Yeah, by a DA and an attorney general who made it very clear that those prosecutions were politically motivated.
Attorney general's not the one who convicts. Attorney general's not the judge.
The grand jury, well, the judge doesn't convict either, but the attorney...
The judge runs the court, decides what evidence is allowed in and it isn't allowed in. The jury is the one that decides whether or not to convict.
For anything, but in terms of the judge, who also had ties, very clear ties to Democrat Party officials and Democrat leadership, his daughter is a longtime Democrat.
All the lies, all the talking points.
Okay, but that doesn't make a judge.
You don't believe in due process. Just say you don't believe in due process. It's so much easier if you guys just say you don't believe in due process. Accuse every judge of being corrupt. Accuse every single lawyer. It was so funny because even in the Barr depositions that came out, where he was saying, all of your court cases were getting thrown out for the 2020 stuff. Like, you think every single judge is corrupt? All of them, even our own appointments.
Those were Federalist Society judges.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, every single person that gives a bad ruling to Trump is corrupt, is compromised, is.
You brought it up, Stephen. Let's let CJ
election integrity cases. Almost zero of those cases were dismissed on the merits of the case. They were dismissed on a procedural basis. So I'm not really.
Even if you say dismissed on a procedural basis, standing is the easiest thing to have in a court case. So if you don't even have standing, these cases are beyond messed up.
Well, again, the point that I was making is that they were dismissed on a procedural basis, not the merits of the case, and so it has nothing to do with whether it's a Trump judge or not a Trump judge. It was dismissed on the procedural basis.
I know you guys have that talking point, but the fact of the matter is, if you know anything about court or trial, it is. If you can't make standing for a case, you failed on the very first part of whether or not a case should even be heard by a particular court. That just speaks so much to the weakness of the case. Also, it's also not even technically true because for the majority of these cases, the judges actually did go through. The judges actually did lightly address the merits on a lot of these because they knew that these were going to be controversial cases. Even the ones that were tossed on standing, the judges usually wrote something to the effect of how weak the evidence inside of the complaints were.
CJ, do you believe the 2020 election was rigged and stolen?
Of course he does.
We're talking about the future now. We're not talking about 2020.
That's a yes, by the way. That's a yes, by the way.
Wasn't a yes. If I wanted to say yes, then I would have said yes. But what I am focused on is 2026, these upcoming midterm elections where President Trump is going to have a lot to run on, whether it's the establishment of Trump accounts, securing the southern border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, the worst of the worst. Many people have already tried to write us off and say that, we're destined to lose the House, destined to lose the Senate. I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than people think it is. I think that people underestimate far too often the ability for Democrats to fuck up a good thing. And so I'm super excited to see what's
well,
here, wait, do you want to see a quick trick? Wait, a quick trick. Wait, really quick trick. This is really funny to play all the MAGA people. Do you think that Trump lost the 2020 election? Did Biden win it?
Well, I think President Biden was in the White House. Was
you see that? There you go. That's very cute. All the cabinet people said the same. They have to carry the party line.
I don't know why you can't just say yes.
No, because he was he was in one of the cases that got tossed. I think he was one of the fake electors for Georgia, actually. So yeah, obviously he's super invested in the idea that the 2020 election was rigged, despite the fact that his own case got thrown out and every other case got thrown out on standing and when the merits were evaluated. There were none of these passed any threshold anywhere. They were all trash.
They were dismissed. So again, that's just not true. You're conflating very different things.
Conflating which things? Your last name is Pearson, right? You were the guy in Pearson v. Kemp where you guys made the same fake Dominion voting systems claims, the same claims that Fox News had to pay an almost $800 million settlement out to, right? Because those were all lies as well?
Stephen, we're going to let CJ respond to what you just said because you just made a pretty serious accusation against him. I don't know anything about it. I'll give you a chance to respond.
At the end of the day, I was committed to getting all the answers about the 2020 election that we could, because I think that is what we do in democratic countries, and I think that's important that people have faith in our elections. And so, no, I have no apologies for participating and working with President Trump's legal team to make sure that the American people had all the answers at their disposal that they needed to have faith in our elections. And so I think that's actually democracy, Destiny, which I thought you would be.
It's interesting because what I heard was another anti-due process comment because you didn't like the fact that all these cases got thrown out for making ridiculous accusations, oftentimes relying on single affidavits, which I think your guys was a single affidavit, right, by Ron Watkins, right, another Sidney Powell Kraken case that went absolutely nowhere, where the relief that you were praying for the judge was to throw out the entire election in the state of Georgia is crazy, and you're like, how could they possibly dismiss the case on standing?
CJ,
you'll make one point and then you'll dispute that next point the more I let you talk. You acknowledged just a few minutes ago that most of these cases, if not all, were dismissed upon a procedural basis. You then just said seconds ago that these cases were dismissed because of a bunch of crazy allegations. That would mean that the cases were decided upon the merits. They were not.
No, you can address the merits of a case while dismissing it on standing. You can dismiss a case on standing while also talking about the merits of a case. You should try reading a court filing sometimes. Now, I know if you came from Sidney Powell's camp, you might have never seen the inside of a courthouse in your entire life, let alone actually read anything that came from a judge, but you can actually dismiss a case on standing, and the judge will oftentimes take the time to write in the dismissal particular information about the case that he's talking about. I'm pretty sure in yours he addressed the fact that Ron Watkins was the crazy QAnoner that was the one writing the affidavit saying that the Dominion voting system had rigging the election, a claim that you still have zero evidence for, right? And to say that it was thrown out on standing so it doesn't count is like saying that the guy didn't hire me because I decided to skip my job interview so he didn't give me a fair shot. That doesn't make any sense. Like, yes, standing is an essential part of a case. You have to decide who can hear a case or not. You can't even meet the threshold of standing. Why do you even think the merits of your case deserve to be heard? That's called due process, right? But you don't believe in it when the cases lose on your end, but that's okay. You know, back to the talking points.
So, again, these are not talking points. These are just matters of fact, which I understand you don't really play much with. But at the end of the day, when you look at these cases that were brought, they were brought, again, in the interest of the American people. People had questions about our elections. They deserved answers. In the same way that when President Trump was first elected in 2016, it was Russia collusion this, Russia collusion that. We spent millions upon millions of dollars investigating some Russia collusion hoax, only to find out that it was just that, a hoax. And so y'all are able to ask questions when it comes to elections, but we are not. But let's just actually go back to a little closer in time in 2018 when Stacey Abrams denied the results of the election in Georgia. That's my home state. I know it well. Were you calling her anti-democracy? Were you calling her an insurrectionist? No, you were not. Because then it's okay for Democrats to question elections, right? But the moment Republicans have a few questions, then we are standing against
CJ, I will say though, it's more than asking questions when you challenge election results in court, when you have a riot at the Capitol to try to force the vice president to hijack an election. That's not like, obviously you are allowed to question election results and suggest things, but when there's massive defamation cases settled for lies that were broadcast on TV about this, people were doing more than just asking questions about the election results.
You know, at the end of the day, the courts is a means to getting answers to questions, and I think that's our right as American citizens to use that as a vehicle to do so. In terms of the comments that were made about Dominion or whatever it may be, I didn't make any of those comments, so I can't speak to that. But what I will say is that it's important that the American people have faith in our elections, because that's what separates us from third world countries, like the very ones that people are trying to flee every single day.
Right, but I would just say, though, that what sowed a lot of disfaith, not that that's a word, but what hurt a lot of the faith that people have in elections are the lies and conspiracy theories that were spread about 2020. Guys, we're going to put a pin in that subject and move it along here to more things that are, of course, going to be not at all contentious. So let's talk about President Trump, potential blasphemy and beef with the Pope. I'm going to roll my monologue here, and then we'll discuss. Oh, does Trump just keep getting away with it? Move over! Racist Obama meme, horrifying celebration of Rob Reiner's death, and all the other unhinged posts from our president that most likely would have been presidency-defining scandals in any other administration. We've got a new competitor in town for President Trump's latest crazy post from our very stable genius, of course. followers. On Sunday, Trump posted this image on Truth Social that quite clearly depicts him as Jesus Christ. Gotta love the humility to share that. This comes, of course, the same week that President Trump insulted the Pope, yes, the Pope, in quite personal terms on social media, calling him weak and liberal in a post that, again, would have been really unthinkable for any president other than Trump to attack the Vatican in this way. As for the Jesus post, it's not just corny, it's sacrilegious and blasphemous, even according to many Trump-supporting Christians. Yet much of the same conservative and right-wing media ecosystem that really would have screamed bloody murder if a Democrat like Obama had ever posted this kind of thing downplayed or ignored the story. So much so that according to Mediaite, Fox and Friends' 3-hour morning broadcast on Monday didn't find time to include a single mention of President Trump's post depicting himself as Jesus Christ. Something tells me that if President Obama or Biden had ever shared such an image, they would have found the time in their broadcast to discuss it. Now, President Trump did delete the image amid all of the backlash, but he didn't exactly apologize or take accountability. He instead suggested that he didn't think it depicted him as Jesus at all, but instead as a doctor.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one.
So he's either blatantly lying, or he might actually be brain dead. Because no rational human being can look at that picture and not see a direct comparison to Jesus. And the last time I checked, doctors don't usually have glowing magic hands that heal the sick. But at this point, is any of this really surprising or new? And will this just blow over like all the other controversial posts from this president? Joining me now to debate all of this, we've got the liberal streamer Stephen Bennell, aka Destiny, and the MAGA commentator CJ Pearson. Let's get into it. All right, guys. CJ, I'll come to you first on this. Surely you don't believe that this was, in fact, meant to depict Trump as a doctor?
You know, the president deleted the post, and I think that's, you know, the end of the discussion there. Really, to be quite frank, it's not something I would have posted, and I think the president, you know, leans on a lot of folks, the evangelical community and Christians all throughout the country and the world for guidance, and I think many of them reached out to him, and the president heard them. He realized that this post was misinterpreted, and from there, he deleted the photo because he didn't want...
How was it misinterpreted?
That it just was. It obviously was not his intention to cast himself as Jesus Christ. It's what many people saw it to be. And upon hearing from the feedback of many people, he deleted it.
But how could you look at that image, share it, and think that you weren't depicting yourself as Jesus Christ? You saw it, right? With the flowing robes and the demon behind him and the healing hands. Like, nobody actually thinks that's a doctor. I would actually agree with you that maybe we could move on if he just said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have posted that depicting myself as Jesus. We could just move on. But he, like, kind of lied about it, saying it was a doctor. That's why I'm still hung up on this, CJ.
Yeah, you know, I've never seen an image of Jesus doing that particular thing in that photo. So I think a lot of people online said that he was depicting himself as Jesus, and, you know, and again, like, perception is reality in politics more times than not, which is why I think the president deleted the photo. So. But
I have to be honest with you. I feel like if Biden, Kamala, Obama, anyone had posted something like that,
I think the reaction that we saw towards President Trump would have been absolutely mirrored towards any other political figure. Because
I feel like it would have been times 100, though.
Maybe from certain folks, but I think in terms of the interpretation of that, probably would have been the same that it was towards President Trump, and they would have been either forced to delete it or apologize, and the president decided to delete it.
All right, Stephen, your thoughts?
Of all the things Trump has done, actually, I feel like this was fine. I feel like it's fully consistent with the Republican mindset because they basically all treat Trump like he's God anyway, so.
I mean, so a point that I would make about this is I don't think the president should ever make statements that, like, offend the religion of Americans, right? So I just think the president should avoid that kind of thing. Of course, I'm not Christian or Catholic or anything.
Yeah, but you can't, you know, we're getting older and we're just in a new era now, and sometimes the president has to tweet out, you know, 780-word schizo posts or tweet about how he's going to end a civilization.
What the
fuck? We're all supposed to understand that he's not serious, but it's
funny.
Also serious enough that people will, I guess, use it for negotiations or, yeah, sorry, you find it funny that
he does this, like, some people were more mad about this than the stuff that he's posted that's, like, objectively way worse. Like, obviously it's an offensive thing to post to religious communities, but I've seen some, like, religious conservatives who made excuses for him, like, posting an image depicting Obama and Michelle as monkeys, or like threatening to destroy an entire civilization, they're suddenly like, but you can't post that Jesus AI slop. That's too far, Mr. President. I don't know. That seems strange to me.
Well, it's revealing. I mean, the Republicans revel in the cruelty of a lot of what Trump says and does, but the obviously bashing Catholics or Christians is too far because that's the thing that actually upsets them. So.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that dichotomy?
What? Why am I getting
You know, I
one
think
shot over
when
here? Holy
that,
fuck!
The monkey post was made, I was critical of that. You know, obviously we came to know that it wasn't the president who posted that, but also too, we also saw that it was like
You
an
better,
play clip that was posted as well. So looks like it was posted in error. In terms of, you know, this photo, again, I think the president was right to delete the post, as he was right
There's
to delete
fucking armor, huh?
the monkey post. Neither of those, I think, should be on his feed, and I think that they're a distraction to the very important things that he's doing, the very important wins that he's putting on the board for the American people. And so I think the president hears his feedback in real time, which is why we saw most of those posts deleted. Notice that when many of those in the media and on the left absolutely threw a conniption fit when he said that, you know, Iran would cease to exist today, and he did that to bring them back to the table and to save lives. He didn't delete that post. He stood by it because he knew what the end goal for that was. And so it's, again, I think that a lot of people probably these posts because at the end of the day, a lot of them end up just working out. You know, going back to the first term when he called, Kim Jong-un.
Well, can we stay on the threaten the civilization with Iran? Is it, even if it's a negotiation tactic that led to some good outcome, is it really morally acceptable for a president to threaten to exterminate an entire civilization, including women and children?
Did it work?
No, we don't have a deal yet. So it didn't. There aren't even ends. But there aren't even ends to justify the means. We didn't really get a deal for Gaza. We didn't get a deal for Hamas. We don't have a deal for any of our trade stuff. 100 deals in 100 days. We don't have any of that. We have nothing.
So Stephen, we can come to that in a moment.
No deal for Ukraine, Russia. Yeah.
Stephen,
Sorry.
I think it's an interesting question. Would the end, because what you're saying is just the ends justify the means. I didn't think that was a Christian or conservative belief, CJ.
I think that this is exactly who Trump is and who he has always been, and that's exactly who the American people voted to make their commander-in-chief. Again, going back to the
great
first
answer.
term, when he told Kim Jong-un, it is a great answer because it's the Democratic answer.
It's not a great answer because he asked you if it was a morally acceptable thing, and you said he won the vote, therefore it's okay.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm saying the American people knew what they were getting in this president. Going back to the first term,
that's not an answer. The American people knew they were getting an immoral president?
Again, going back to the first term when he told Kim Jong-un that if you threaten America again, my nuclear weapon is bigger, stronger, and it actually works, many people said, oh no, this madman's going to get us into another world war, all of these things. What did he actually do?
What did he do? He got no new deals. He pissed off our allies in the region because North Korea expanded the creation of their intercontinental ballistic missiles. It pissed off Japan. It pissed off South Korea. And Tillerson himself came back and was recorded talking to Pence saying that the president was a fucking moron. So, I mean...
They don't.
They don't what?
But we left...
Sorry, I missed... CJ, say that point again?
Yeah. What does North Korea, you know, face us with today? They don't... And what happened?
Sorry, stop for a second. CJ, we lost your signal, so do you want to just restate that point? And you were cutting in and out. Yeah, I can hear you now, but we lost you for a second.
What was the last thing?
It was me asking you to restate the point, and then we lost you after that.
Okay, yeah. So when it comes to the threat that North Korea, poses upon the United States today, it's non-existent because of the president's unique negotiation tactics, and also too looking at the fact that looking at the dichotomy between him and Joe Biden, it's night and day, and it's because the world wasn't scared of him. Our enemies didn't fear us because they knew that Joe Biden didn't even know his name. And so, yes, I gotta say, I'm gonna bet on this president because his track record is one worth betting on. You know, the folks said that he wouldn't be able to
what
free
is the
America
track record?
What is the track record?
From Gaza. He did that.
8 months. Biden freed. Wait, you acknowledge Biden freed more hostages than Trump, right? Nothing. Yes, he freed more hostages than Donald Trump. Donald Trump said he was going to have a deal on day 1. It was like 100 days, or I'm sorry, it was like months and months into office before the Gaza-Israel ceasefire even happened. What, like 8 months? Sorry, so that's not true. No deals with North Korea. No trade deals yet. They haven't happened. We undermined the renegotiation of NAFTA that he did, the U.S. Mexico-Canada trade agreement.
I don't want you to just talk over each other.
There's no deals. We have nothing. This guy sucks.
Let's give CJ 30 seconds to wrap up his point, and then we'll come back to you, Steven. You can explain at length.
He freed the American hostages. We have a ceasefire in Israel between them and Hamas. He brought Azerbaijan and Armenia to the table. He brought Pakistan and India to the table. This is the peacemaker in chief. And sometimes you have to speak in a way that may feel uncomfortable to the proclivities of certain sensitive folks. But at the end of the day, I guarantee you the people that are safer in the region and safer here at home because of his leadership.
Okay, Stephen, your response to that.
The peacemaker in chief was the guy who kidnapped the leader from Venezuela, has the entire world pissed off at us, hasn't done anything to stop the war in Ukraine.
CJ, let Stephen make his point.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't understand. We've got more wars. Like, people are more on edge today. Trump has bombed more countries, I think, than any president in all of U.S. history at a single term. It's like 8 or 9 different countries he's bombed so far. We are double blockading the Strait of Hormuz now outside of Iran's own blockade. Nothing with Russia, Ukraine. I mean, Israel is bombing Lebanon. I don't know where the peace is, man. I hope we find it somewhere, wherever it is. I don't know how many more times we can get peace in the Middle East before it's 6, but yeah, Jesus,
people can decide for themselves whether they think Trump is really the moniker of the peace president. I want to touch on
Wait, what does that mean? People can decide for that? We renamed the DOD to the Department of War, and we're threatening to invade our allies.
Stephen, I was being a little tongue-in-cheek.
I know, I'm being tongue out of my cheek,
I don't
okay?
think that he is, but CJ and other people do, and that's their opinion.
It's not a valid opinion. It's an emotional appeal to try to defend a man that is indefensible.
Well, that's the point of this debate, is that people can hear both of the perspectives, and then they can make up their
What I
mind.
will say about Venezuela, because you made that point, I don't think we suffered any consequences for doing that. So I'm really confused how because the same president, Maduro, who was poisoning our citizens, right, and who was helping
poisoning them with what?
The flow of fentanyl into this country.
I don't think very much fentanyl comes from Venezuela.
I think they use it as a vehicle to traffic it through the boats and everything that we've been using, that we've been bombing actively, again, to protect, number one, our sovereignty, but the health of our own country. And so, at the end of the day, this president is being proactive, and he's actually showing that America can just do things. If we want to stop drug boats from invading our country, we can just do things. We can bomb them into oblivion.
I mean, if you're willing to execute people without a due process at all, we just get suspect of being drug dealers based on whatever intelligence.
Those people don't give a damn about you, don't give a damn about me. And frankly, I don't care if we bomb them today, tomorrow, every other day. I would rather them die than American citizens.
There are thousands
and that's the MAGA ethos in a nutshell. I think everybody should.
We could apprehend them without murdering them. We have an advanced Navy. And then if they're drug dealers or drug traffickers, they can be charged with that. And back to our earlier conversation, given due process and not just, I mean, some of these people have turned out to be terrific drug traffickers, and obviously I think that's terrible, but some may not be, and I'm not comfortable with any president just blowing up random boats they say are drug traffickers. We don't know if they are or not. There was no finding of guilt against them. That's somebody
to defend Americans, not random Venezuelans or Colombians or
But
whoever.
do they still have human rights, though? Aren't they humans made in the image of God who have a right to due process before?
Well, I think it's so interesting when people who are not religious try to use religion to make an argument that you yourself don't even subscribe to.
But I'm trying to ask you about your belief.
Yeah, but what I'm saying.
Because you talked about due process earlier and being Christian.
Because I see people on the left more often, now these days, using the Bible as a reason to justify whatever they're saying, when they also will, in the next breath, defend the mutilation of children's genitals. So it's.
I think it's really funny. It's so interesting to me that at the beginning of this conversation, we were so happy to attack Swalwell for what we perceive to be his democratic values, but we can't Republicans for Republican values. Isn't that kind of weird?
CJ, let's let CJ finish his point.
But I think the point that you're making is a fair one. But I think at the end of the day, the president makes the vote to protect Americans. And so, you're saying, oh, we could just arrest them, apprehend them. But the moment that we did that, we actually boarded those boats, engaged those boats, led to a firefight. We loaded a sailor. Why would we do that when we have the technology where we don't have to do something like that? And stop them before they even reach our shores. I think that, again, anyone who's lost a loved one to fentanyl or drug use definitely doesn't have any problem with drug use.
All right, Stephen, your response.
Yeah, I think it's funny that we can. The beginning of this conversation started off with us holding Democrats to the Democrat standards, but then when it comes to holding Republicans to Christian standards, especially we're talking about Donald Trump, a man that CJ said was a man of high upstanding moral character, refuses to acknowledge any of the really well documented documented and well-known immoral behaviors of Donald Trump, not to mention his civil liabilities, not to mention his criminal convictions, not to mention that when he was asked for a favorite verse in the Bible, he said all of them, and he obviously is not a religious man whatsoever. I just think it's very funny. I think it's also funny that when Republicans are talking about how both parties act, Democrats are always held to the highest moral standard that they should act on, and Republicans are always held to just whatever is like legally permissible at the time. Earlier we were talking about how important due process was, and then we were talking about due process and how important that was, and Swalwell dropping out. However, that was a thing that the Democrats had to do, but the due process for Trump, where he was actually found guilty, that didn't matter and that didn't count. So like none of this makes sense. It's all like goofy.
What you just said a moment ago. Can you say it again?
He's saying that Democrats are being held to the highest moral standard. There's a woman in the Florida congressional delegation who stole $3 million in FEMA funds, and she is still a member of Congress.
Who's
so, Stephanie Turfus Powell or something like that, black woman.
She personally stole $3 million in FEMA funds?
Yes.
Was she convicted of that?
She's under investigation right now. She was indicted by the DOJ. The House Ethics Committee investigated it, found bipartisanly, found that she was culpable for the actions that she's accused of.
She should be held accountable then.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's an example of a Democrat not being held to the highest moral standard. She's still a member of Congress, still serving.
I'm sorry, wait, if she was so she was convicted of this and she's still serving and she didn't get
she's been indicted by the DOJ, so her trial has not yet happened, but there was a separate House Ethics Committee investigation and trial that they did.
Yeah, but who's the House Ethics Committee? I'm sorry, but you guys have no credibility there anymore. Who headed by what? Jim Jordan or Comer again or whatever?
No, it's led by Chairman Michael Guest, who's a member of Mississippi, and actually it's the one committee in the House, Destiny, it's civics, that equal number of Democrats and equal number of Republicans.
Oh, okay. Well, if she's found accountable, then she should be held accountable. Hopefully the Democrats don't make the same statements about her that Mike Johnson, the leader in the House for the Republicans, was making about Gonzalez, saying that he shouldn't step down.
So I want to move the conversation, back to where we started a little bit. Though I think, honestly, obviously we got a little off track, but I think those are interesting things to flesh out, so I don't mind that we did. On the Pope question, I mean, do you have any... I'm sorry, just to clarify, CJ, are you Catholic or another denomination of Christian?
No, I'm not Catholic. I'm Protestant. So it's kind of one of those things where, obviously, not being Catholic, I can't speak to obviously the role that the Pope plays in their particular.
Yeah, you don't have to. But I guess what I just find it, to me, it's a surreal moment, having covered politics for about 10 years now, because it just is an example where, like you said, I'm not Catholic, so I'm not going to tell Catholics how. Is this a good pope, a bad pope, like anything like that? Like, I'll leave the papacy and the Vatican to them. Any other president, though, that made any sort of criticism on the Pope, calling them weak or calling the Pope too conservative, if it was Obama or something.
What did he say? He said he was weak on crime? Jesus.
He did say he was weak on crime. I feel like, is this not an example of how, like, Trump is just treated totally differently and graded on a totally different scale? Because I feel like that would have been an apoplectic level 5-alarm fire moment in any other presidency, and we just kind of shrug. And you're like, oh, Trump's insulting the Pope now. Like, that doesn't feel fair or right to me.
I think this president's always been a counterpuncher, but I don't think, criticisms of the Pope is
counterpunching the Pope.
It's a reality though. There is no man. If he feels that he is being attacked, he will punch back. And we can have a back and forth about whether or not he should be above that or not above it. Frankly, I don't care. My entire thing is go give the world to the American people. But the entire idea that this is unprecedented, that like we as conservatives or as a movement have never criticized the Pope, is absolutely completely untrue. I remember so many times when Pope Francis would get absolutely raked over the polls every time he made some pronouncement about climate change or whatever it may be online. And so I don't think this is actually unprecedented.
Can you think of an instance where a president criticized the Pope?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's probably the unprecedented part. It's not maybe you have President Trump now engaging in it, but I think that oftentimes there have been people on the right who've had criticisms about Pope Francis. I think the last conservative pope, if you were to label as that, which a lot of my Catholic friends say that you should never look at the Pope as conservative or liberal, like they're just speaking to their interpretation, or I guess that's the word to use, of the faith. So I don't know. Again, like, I'm Protestant, so the Pope to me is just who he is. And so I respect obviously the office that he holds and the importance that he has in to other people's faith, but that's kind of.
Stephen, your thoughts on perhaps a double standard here?
Yeah, it's just a deeply unserious treatment of the subject. Obviously, if any Democratic president were tweeting or saying anything about the Pope like this, everybody in the United States would absolutely lose their mind. But again, because it's Trump, it's epic and funny. If somebody came to you and they showed you a Truth Social account or a Twitter account, and it was somebody tweeting the things that Donald Trump tweets on a near daily basis, and you told them that, like, this is my dad or this is my uncle, like, you would tell that kid, like, yeah, you need to get him help or something. Like, he has to get off social media. This isn't healthy. He's having either some psychotic break from reality, or he just has a very unhealthy engagement with social media. But because Trump is doing it, it's like epic and hilarious and based. And it's deeply disgusting to me that Trump is making our entire country the laughing stock of the world, but you have delusional people like this guy who's getting paid from who knows where to try to convince Americans that Trump is respected everywhere and that this is normal, while Iran is posting Lego memes roasting our country and holding one of the most important passages of oil hostage against the entire world because supposedly Trump has great leverage over him. Like, the whole world sees us as a laughing stock right now. It's going to take us decades to rebuild the relationships that Trump and the rest of the Republican Party have memed into disarray at the end of this presidency, assuming we survive the 4 years. All of it is just deeply, deeply concerning to me. There's so many people in this country that are willing to put party above country or the rest of the world.
I do think we will survive, but CJ, your response to that?
I just think it's funny, like Dusty's sitting here talking about memes and ignoring the fact that the entire Iranian Navy no longer exists. So they can post all the memes that they want to post about us. We have destroyed their military. We have destroyed their ability to shoot long-range missiles. We have decimated their nuclear-making abilities. So I don't give a damn about their memes, Destiny. They are upset. Poe's mad. Let him be
I'm
mad.
sorry. Is the Strait open or not right now? Just checking. I didn't check the news today.
Again, I didn't say anything about the Strait, so you're arguing.
Is the Strait? What was the threat that the Iranian Navy posed to us? What was the threat that the Iranian Navy posed to us before the war?
Moving along.
Was there a
nuclear Iran was a threat to all of our interests in the region.
But they didn't have nukes. So what you said the Navy got destroyed. What threat did the Navy pose to us? And is the Strait open right now?
Are they not a vehicle that the Iranian military can use to threaten our interests in the Middle East?
I don't know. Apparently they don't need one because they're still closing the Strait, aren't they?
So again, like the point that I was making is that
there was no
the
point.
Iranian Navy
They're
is
talking
gone.
points.
You're saying that we're losing because they're posting memes trolling us. Those two
What
things
trouble
are
was the
right now.
Iranian Navy causing us before we blew it up? How many times did you read a story? Iranian Navy today poses massive threat to U.S. interests.
Destiny, I don't understand if you're being like intentionally simplistic here. We destroyed the Navy because we are at war with them. We are engaged in conflict with them. We are seeking to decimate their ability to respond and continue to be a continued threat to our interest in the region.
But they're
So it doesn't
obviously
matter
still a
if their
threat to
Navy
our
was a threat
interests.
to us. Their Navy was a threat
Strait
to
is
our
closed.
interests.
But the Strait is still closed, so it seems like they still are a threat.
They're not a threat. They are definitely impeding some economic interests at this
What do you
point,
think
and
a
I
threat
that the
is? What does a threat do? Does things like impedes economic interest, right? Isn't that what the point of a threat is to be able to impede things?
I think we lost CJ's feed for a second. CJ, brother, we got to work on the Wi-Fi.
I think the problem is his computer is overheating because he's got to run like 8 graphics cards in order to generate new excuses for each of these topics. So.
All right, Steven.
Does you see how unserious this is, right? Like, no, Brad,
we
how many
can't roast
times,
the man while he's not here to respond.
How many times did you hear how threatening the Iranian Navy was to us? Come on, it's like this is all. Sorry, okay, you're right. I'm just
It's
kidding.
a new one for me.
I mean, like Jesus Christ. Also, how many times is Trump saying the Air Force is destroyed and then another plane gets shot? Sorry, we're back.
Is
My
CJ
bad.
Here? He's gonna refresh.
Come on.
But listen, that's the point of the debates. Also, you act like you don't like the debate.
No, I don't. My country's being destroyed. We're being destroyed right now. My portfolio is down. My stock market shit is getting destroyed. Okay, I don't know if we're going to be trading with any country on the planet. Trump is running around trying to seize voter rolls. He's launched an executive order saying that he's going to decide who gets a mail-in ballot or not, and then sending Tulsi Gabbard to monitor. Sorry. I'm here.
Sorry, so we lost your feed, CJ.
We're good.
And we're coming up on our hour here. How about I just conclude your thought about Iran? Destiny, I'll give you a brief answer to respond, but try not to open anything or throw any lobs that require a response, and then we'll wrap
Well,
this
I'll
up.
go first. Brad
Okay.
convinced me. I'm glad that we blew up the Iranian Navy because of the massive threat that it posed to the United States and interests in the region. I'm glad that's gone now. Thank God for Donald Trump, who is a god, I guess. Yes.
So, after our brief technical interruption there, CJ, your response.
You know, again, I trust this president. It's a president who has done what many people said he could never do on the world stage. He continues to deliver. You know, I'm not eager for any type of, international adventurism as much as anyone else. But at the same time, I know this president is, if there's anyone that can get us in and get us out in record time, it will be Donald Trump. So I'm excited about it and looking forward to this coming to a swift and resolute end. Very
God.
Okay, Stephen, final word to you.
Yeah, in and out in record time. I don't know what we're going to get. It seems like the Iranian position is going to be strengthened after this. Russia's position has been strengthened now. Iran stands to make more money and have sanction relief on them that is going to give them, so much money. We talked about Obama flying a plane of cash to them. Trump is going to be shipping tankers full of cash to Iran after the sanction relief and the money they're going to make tolling the Strait of Hormuz. The one thing I would point out, I guess, for people to know, anybody that even pays attention to this, is Trump really likes bullying smaller players, but Trump is a coward when it comes to larger players. That's why Putin has played him over and over and over again. It's why he can't seem to get a grasp on Iran. He thought he could bully them the same way that he did Venezuela and Maduro, and he's failing miserably, and the entire world sees it. He doesn't realize that, for all of the idiots back here in the United States who are willing to make excuses for his behavior on social media, like CJ, about how memes and epic and trolling and everything it is, Trump suffered real consequences when he went to NATO and asked them for help with Iran, and NATO said, no, sorry, you're deranged and unhinged. This president is just unbelievable to me.
Well, sounds like you're a big fan of him. Guys, we will leave it there. Thank you both very much for joining me and having a conversation.
Good to see you all.
So now just sit tight for a second. So the way, I don't know if we've used Riverside before. So we've got CJ's upload complete. Steven, yours is still loading. By the way, so the way this works is the first half of this will come out tonight, and then the second half, from the second monologue to the end of the conversation, will come out Thursday night.
Cool. Sounds good.
And I will, I'll follow up with you both. Steven, you're still uploading, but CJ, you are good to go.
All right, perfect. Talk to y'all soon.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I see it. It's at 70%.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Why is it taking so long? They just want you to hang out with me more.
It's like so unserious. Like who fears Trump? Like, do you notice this guy sends the same?
I kind of fear him. Though.
Yeah, I do too. But like, we're not the ones that should be afraid, right? It's like having a fearsome pilot, but you're actually talking about like a commercial airliner pilot who's getting drunk every time, and it's like Jesus.
You're a passenger.
Like, yeah, one of the most fearsome pilots in the United States, and it's like a guy flying American Airlines. It's like I don't want to be on that plane, Chief. But like, you notice that he sends the same three fucking stooges to negotiate everywhere too. Like Witkoff and Kushner, I guess, speak every language and are fluent in politics in every single country, region across the world. Like,
he's just got to send Laura Loomer.
Yeah, true. You saw the man, dude. It's bad. It's really bad. Like, it's crazy.
But you just have to give up.
Yeah, but like.
And then go along for the ride.
I guess, but I mean, the rest of the world is being pulled along with us right now into who knows what. Like, we're not even looking at.
Some of the ramifications will be really long term, right? Like tourism, like foreign students, like America. Some of the damage to America of the Trump presidency will take decades to fully materialize. Unfortunately, it's like very easy to quickly blow things up, but it takes a long time to build relationships and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really explain it at this point. I get accused regularly of having Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Don't worry, I get accused of having Hassan derangement syndrome, so, two sides of the same coin.
So I have one progressive YouTuber, like, professional friend who is a Hassan apologist and fan, and he gets so mad when I post things bashing Hassan, and he tries to defend them. And I'm like,
yo, set me up with a debate with that guy next, man. I'll gladly. I'm
Hassan's
number one hater, okay?
What is the news? What is the news value of just two streamers arguing, moderated by a third podcaster about another podcaster.
I think it's great. Listen, half the people in the White House today are podcast. RFK is starting a fucking podcast now, so hey, why
Also,
not?
I'm so sorry. He has the worst possible voice to be starting a fucking podcast.
RFK Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, listen. Yeah.
That's very ableist, I know.
It is. Not good.
It is interesting that, for whatever reason, these topics, like talking about Hassan Piker, people are still very like, I don't know if this is true for your views, but like, if I make a video about him, it'll get
God, are you serious?
something like exponentially more important.
I mean, Americans.
Stamina
Yeah, like I
shit
said,
fucking
Americans don't care about
sucks.
foreign policy.
You
Americans don't
swing
understand a
like
lot of
3
stuff like
fucking
finance or
times
whatever,
and you're
but
fucked.
social
But I
issues
don't
or
get
pop
it though,
culture
because
stuff.
some of these other channels, like Breaking Point or the Young Turks, or I see their content about, and Piers Morgan, their content about foreign affairs gets massive numbers.
I understand
Yet,
what you're
like,
saying, but it's as weird as this is. Like, Israel-Palestine is not a foreign policy issue to the United States. It's a way to plug in any belief you want because it's the
God
perfect
damn
region.
this bitch.
It's a way for people to plug in their anti-imperialism views and their anti-America views, and Israel-Palestine is just the vehicle for that. You can test this by literally asking them anything at all about Israel-Palestine, and none of these people have any fucking idea about literally any of it because they don't really care about it. It's just a vehicle for them for the people on the far left. It's their vehicle for shitting on Democrats non-stop, constantly. So it seems to be the case that, like, oh, Israel-Palestine, we're doing foreign policy today, but not really. It's about, like, who's AIPAC funded
well, it's
now.
also, the issue is also intertwined with
Yeah, well, depending on how zoggy you want to get. Yeah, 100%, of course. Yeah.
I'm not saying Israel controls our
Sure. No, I'm not saying you're
God
saying that, but I'm
damn
saying
this
that, like,
motherfucker.
Some people say that.
yeah, hard.
I'm actually skeptical. I wonder if it's slower because you're streaming. Is that using up your bandwidth or something?
Maybe.
I'm the least
Oh,
technologically
actually,
savvy person.
or it could be because I have a VPN for my browser. That might be. But wait, where's the upload status? How much is it at?
It says 84%.
Okay. That's
You
good.
can also just leave this tab open and get back to it. How long?
Fucking
How many hours
bitch.
do you stream a day?
8 hours, but it's normally me just sitting here saying nothing and being a boring piece of shit right now. So.
Well, sometimes I watch clips of it, but I guess usually they're clips. I don't just click into the stream really. What game is that you always have on in the background?
Depends on when you're watching me. Right now, it's some roguelike called Mugenics. So.
Okay. I'm not like a gamer, but I recently got addicted to Crusader Kings.
Is that a mobile?
No, I'm not. I don't play fucking mobile games.
Oh, my bad.
That's like the most offensive thing you could. I would much rather have you call me a slur than suggest that I play iPhone games. Crusader Kings 3.
Oh.
Have you never heard of this? I feel like it's big. I like strategy games, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
Like I was big into Civilization and all that kind.
Wait, I used to be a professional StarCraft 2 player, so it's kind of similar-ish.
I never played that.
Civ and all that. These are
right?
Yeah, these are like 4X games, right? But StarCraft is like a real-time strategy, so it's like it's like an overhead view of things, but it's more real-time rather than like turn-based or whatever. But yeah, I played Stellaris for a little bit.
Okay, I've never tried that one, but that's kind of up the alley, for sure.
Man,
Are you one of these liberals who's very against prediction markets?
I mean, I haven't really thought about it much. I don't know like what the party line is on it though. The two reasons I would be against it though are, one is I think gambling in general is kind of bad, and I don't like how reduced the friction is on a lot of gambling related things that don't look like gambling. So things like Robinhood or like CSGO skins on video games, or the prediction markets maybe. And then two, I feel like sometimes it could be a way for bad actors, especially in this administration, to do massive cash outs. But I don't think I'm like principally opposed to them.
I'm against insider trading, and I think those laws should be enforced, applied to prediction markets. But I guess the one thing I like about them is, or one of the things I like about them is that it's not like gambling against a casino app on your phone where the house always wins and you're like gonna lose money. You are going peer to peer, and then they're making money from fees. So it's not like destined for you to lose in the same way. But I don't know. It is here to stay, I think. And I don't know if you saw CNN and Fox signed contracts both to integrate Kalshi into their coverage as sponsored content. So anyway, I am a big fan. I'm a fan of it. And I guess this is streaming, but so I guess your people won't know this, but it's just kind of behind the scenes. Maybe doing a partnership with them, and I wonder if some of the progressive commentators are not going to want to come on if the panel is sponsored.
When
by
you
a
say
prediction market.
Kalshi or whatever, is that Polymarket or what? Is it a different one or?
Kalshi and Polymarket are two competitors.
Okay. Wait, so what is what is like the my party's position, or what is the progressive position on Polymarket?
They're like they want Lena Khan to be back in charge and to squash it with her boot and
Yeah, but
like,
why?
regulate
What is
it.
their main issue with it?
You know, I think it's probably some sort of like consumer protectionism based philosophy, or that I can't honestly, probably I can't articulate it and do it justice. I just see them rage posting about it a lot.
Huh.
Oh, but you know what's on a different topic, you know what's going to turn me into a supervillain?
Uh-oh.
Anti-Waymo progressives. The More Perfect Union people. I don't know if you've seen this.
Oh no, but are these the same people who just hate all forms of corporations attacking taxi driver jobs or something, or?
So they are currently railing against the implementation of Waymo and trying to block it to protect drivers' jobs. I'm like, you Luddite fucks are gonna kill tens of thousands of people. There's basically nothing humans do that is as normalized and as dangerous as driving and as prone to human error. And having Uber, or like Uber-like services, having those jobs eliminated and replaced with much safer autonomous vehicles is like massive progress for humankind. And those are obviously I have sympathy for people who do it and lose their work, but like that is technological progress. You might as well say like ban buses so we can have more drivers, or like, oh, we can't implement the automobile, what about all the buggy drivers that will lose their work? It's like you can't just block, and in this case they're literally weaponizing like labor concerns to thwart progress that will save millions of lives over decades.
I think you know who the Al Shaid or whatever guy is, right? Who's running it?
Yeah, the Michigan Senate guy, yeah.
I feel like everything I hate about politics right now is perfectly summarized by him. So he accurately calls out, in my opinion, that MAGA will blame illegal immigration for why your jobs are threatened, why places aren't affordable, and why it was some third thing or whatever. And he's like, but the conservatives are lying when they say that. The actual reason
It's really the billionaires.
are because billionaires and corporations want you to starve and want you to... It's like, Jesus Christ.
Hassan said that on Pod Save America. He talked about greedflation.
Yeah. Well, but even Kamala played into that, when she was like, we're gonna put price caps because the only reason things are expensive is because everybody's price gouging.
But it was funny how mad MAGA got about that, and I agree with them completely because I'm, a fiscal hawk and a libertarian.
But Trump recently.
Trump did some, and they were like, never mind, we like that.
So crazy to me. Yeah, people have a really hard time with like grappling with like, this is where the world is. What are we gonna do to adapt and move forward? Everybody always wants to like go back and go back and go back, and it's like, yeah.
And you can't actually preserve, right? It's ultimately going to be a futile attempt. So you're just going to delay the implementation, and a lot of people will just die in the meantime. Like if autonomous vehicles ultimately do become prevalent and replace most of these ride apps everywhere else, it will eventually spread everywhere. The momentum will be so strong. You're just going to like grind up the gears for a while to block it. Like they're blocking it in DC, the implementation, and they've created like a counter, a Waymo counter. But it's interesting you say that sometimes, and I like to talk about some culture war issues, and I think some of them are significant, but sometimes when you bring them up to like a progressive political YouTuber or whatever, they'll be like, your problems aren't caused by a trans person, they're caused by a billionaire.
Sure.
I'm like, they're really not though, actually. They're really, I mean, obviously there are some billionaires that do certain malicious things that we could object to, but just the problems facing Americans don't exist because billionaires exist.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you
the
could
same
find-
arguments still come up over and over again. Stupid arguments relating to insulin and nobody understanding how insulin works. The same arguments coming up with housing and how institutional investors are buying up all the homes, and like it's just not true.
Well, the thing that's maddening for me though is that's kind of what I expect from Bernie Sanders progressives.
Yeah.
My whole political career, they have fallen for that kind of nonsense. But now, like, MAGA posts about institutional investors buying up all the homes. And
Because
I'm
it's all populist brain rot, yeah.
But why populism really can just erode people's like facts? I saw this clip. I think it was Benny Johnson on
God.
Fox News claiming. Let's see. I'll pull it up so I don't misquote it. He says illegal immigrants. So Benny Johnson on Fox News says that there were 13,000 homicides from illegal aliens as of 2024.
Yeah, and I only ever hear Laken Riley's name over and over again. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, obviously there are people who are killed by illegal immigrants, but like that's not a real number.
Come on,
And then it
you
was
shit.
shared by a Club
You gotta
for
be
Growth
stuff that I had to
person,
quit.
and he took
Huh?
it as illegal immigrants killed 13,000 Americans in 2024, which is not what Benny Johnson said. What he said was, as of all the decades measured up to 2024, it was 13,000, and that's actually counting all immigrants, not illegal immigrants, and it's counting people who are in jail right now. It's not like they got away with it, as that number is presented, and it's still like
We're about to disassemble.
Anyway, though,
No.
just like the layers of detachment
Here
from
we go.
factual reality, and everyone just jumps on it because it like feels.
It feels like it
true.
reinforces a narrative, yeah. And then there are some numbers
But that
where
is so crazy.
It is, it's
when
bad.
when you came up in the conservative media environment where it was like facts don't care about your feelings, and we were like, suck it, SJWs, and now all of a sudden they're actually like, wait, our feelings don't care about like facts.
The most annoying thing about it is that you never actually make, like, I feel like we've been in a rut in a lot of these issues for a long time because somebody will present a problem that might not even be real, and then they'll come up as a leader and then they claim they fixed it, but that's because the problem wasn't, like, for instance, like the illegal immigration problem related to open borders and Biden. Like, for too many people coming in under the asylum process and everything, that was definitely true. It wasn't 30 million fucking people, though. Jesus Christ. And Trump, because his initial claim was 15 million, and then he got it up to 30
well, they
million.
just say different numbers every time.
Yeah, I know, but the issue
And
is
I
that,
think
like,
it was bad. I think it was really
the asylum,
bad.
the abuses for that definitely were bad, but like we didn't actually do anything to solve it. Like nothing got changed fundamentally about, like, Trump EO'd the border closed, but like a lot less people were coming anyway because now we're through the COVID shit and America sucks right now.
But also it's also about vibes though. That, like Trump versus Biden, a lot of it is not a policy shift. It's that people stop coming because they think he'll be tougher.
Yeah, that is a historical thing that's happened, but it prevents us from making like actual progress in this country. And then sometimes we make reverse progress in this country. Like attacking, like there are just some things that, in my opinion, everybody should view them as off limits. Like I've said this so many times. Like, why do we attack our prestigious institutions like our colleges? Everybody around the world sees like Harvard, Yale, Columbia. These are prestigious institutions. Why would you?
What do you mean by attack though? There's plenty to criticize with those institutions.
You can criticize them, but defunding them or trying to sue them into oblivion because you can't control their curriculum, that's crazy. And then getting rid of like all of our foreign students and stuff. I understand you can criticize them, but like all these people were from Yale. Bush, all these guys were from Yale. They went to these prestigious schools, and now everybody wants to like deport people who are protesting for Palestine and defund these schools and get rid of all the scientific grants and everything. It's like, Jesus, these are like things that everybody around the world like worships America for.
Some of the I think of, well, I'm just point blank against affirmative action, and then I think a lot of the DEI stuff should have been reined in, and I'm not against using federal funds to do so, but that's with the goal of having these institutions be colorblind meritocracies, like they're supposed to be under the law, not with the goal of destroying these institutions.
Yeah, I wish that they would work. There's so many better ways that you can work on it. Like affirmative action went away in California, funnily enough, a lot before the Supreme Court struck it down, because I think their findings with regards to school, their findings were, I think it was called the mismatch theory, that you could 2 or 3 or 4x the amount of minority people that would get into certain schools, but then the dropout rate would become that much higher. And I think they found that affirmative action just wasn't very effective for the UC schools, and they basically dropped that policy when it came to enrolling students, and they found that out like as a school. Like you can do these things. Like one of the most brain-rotting things about populism is that it doesn't let you give credit for anything. It's all or nothing. So on the MAGA side, like it's this crazy attack against like H-1B holders and basically all forms of immigration. Or on the left, it'll be attacks against all corporations or billionaires or whatever. And it's like, let's just like bump our tax rates up, figure out how to make sure things don't get as crazy, and like let's make some actual.
Tax rate up. I pay enough.
Oh my God. You live in Florida. I don't know. I'm sorry, not doxing you. Did you say you live in Florida?
Oh, it's not doxing. Yeah, I live in Miami.
You don't even have state taxes. You're fine.
Well, that's true.
You'll be okay.
I'm in Michigan, so I guess because I just moved to Florida like less than a year ago, my most recent year of taxes is still for Michigan. The other thing is I get a lot of 1099 income, and then you have to do the whole like
self-employment
payments thing. So I do end up paying a significant amount of taxes. I mean, I would definitely favor lower taxes, but.
But I feel like the thing I don't like about, we can fight some other time on this. Wait, what am I? Oh, 98% almost done. Is like when it comes to arguing tax policy, you get into these ludicrous claims made by all sides, and now The scary thing is that conservatives used to be a little better. No, not everybody's gone crazy. Like, I'm sorry, but the it wasn't Nina Turner. It was Nancy somebody who was in California running, who's saying that like we should have no tax on anybody making below $100,000. And then you've got Trump's like no tax on tips or overtime.
Oh, that's so economically illiterate.
Katie Porter's
I generally agree with like tax foundation tax policies.
What's their tax policy?
You'd probably agree with a fair amount of it, but they're like a center-right think tank that does tax policy stuff. But they, for example, they have criticized like no tax on tips as incoherent tax policy. And like, so if you want lower rates, the best way to do that is to simplify, cut out a lot of these loopholes, these stupid deductions, and have a lower universal rate. Because the problem now is your rate may vary based on like a million things that don't make sense, and some of which are just like naked cronyism. Like state and local tax deduction should not exist. But that's one that Democrats fight for as well.
Because we have higher taxes, yeah. Wait, why do you think salt taxes are bad?
Because you shouldn't get a write-off on your federal taxes because you choose to have higher taxes and higher benefits at the state and local level. Like and it essentially subsidizes the growth of government and then imposes your local tax burden. Like your share of federal taxes should not be lower, in effect, because your state chooses more progressive state and tax and spend policies.
I understand what you're saying there, and I think that's an interesting argument. So I would be in favor of getting rid of that, but I think if you wanted to get rid of that, you'd have to pair that to an equal distribution of federal funds for all projects as well then, because I think there is an argument to be made that if you have a salt tax deduction, people might feel salty about that, but I think on average red states, and especially red areas, are huge net receivers of federal tax subsidies in order for them to exist, whether you're talking about building hospitals because they're so far apart, or just subsidizing in general because they don't generate as much revenue as like the denser, either the blue states or the blue cities. So I could see that going back and forth there, but
then you could try to make the distribution fair, sure.
I think people would not like maybe, but yeah, I hear you. I do hear you there. One of the things I don't like about the razor targeting on all the tax stuff is that like on the left they focus on like wealth taxes or some financial transaction taxes or whatever else. I don't even know what they're talking about on the right now. But like I feel like general income tax.
The endowments is a funny one.
There's that, yeah, but like just bump the general rates all up 2 points, and we would make like $500 billion more a year in tax revenue. And I personally don't think, even if you're complaining about it, I don't think it's going to seriously harm any large taxpayers in this country. If you're making 7 figures and you're like, oh god, my top bracket went up 2 points, like I'm fucked. Like it's so much money, it's so easy to implement, it's so no bullshit, it's so not targeted, and I don't know. I just feel like it's so much simpler rather than the endless quibbling over all of these hyper-specific fucking taxes.
Well, I would just eliminate them. And then adjust it, move the rates up and down based on what you're doing. Stop having it, because it shouldn't be a 40% rate for some people and a 15% for other people based on like whether you have this one exemption or deduction, or whether you have this structure of business or this structure of business, or whether like complexity is a subsidy in itself when you have this like behemoth tax code, and it would actually be better to have a much simpler tax code, because then it would be much harder to game, and the people who are able to effectively game it are like elites and ultra wealthy people and corporations.
I don't necessarily disagree with you there. Nobody wants to have that conversation though. Unironically, one of the things that I like that Trump did, as retarded as this guy is I think just saying like fuck it and just like doubling the standard deduction. I think that was a fine change. Like fuck all the trying to itemize when you're making like 65K. Just fucking double standard deduction, move on with it. Yeah.
Oh, so it's funny you say that, because in my original script for the monologue we played, I genuinely considered saying he's either lying or retarded. Because
don't use that word.
But I don't use that word.
You're complaining about the shirt that I'm wearing, and you're like, I'm trying to think if I should call Trump a retard or not.
I mean, I don't care. That's fine. I'm okay with a little bit more blunt communication in media, but it's my most woke opinion is that I don't like to say the R word in any sort of insulting context, because normally I like think the victim group or whatever should just get over it, but I just imagine like my cousin with special needs with Down syndrome, like hearing me say that and being hurt by it, not understanding that it's not meant to insult them. So that's like my one woke opinion, is that obviously I will use the word in the discussion of the word like I just did, but I don't actually say it in commentary or on TV or in podcasts or anything like that, because It's my woke opinion. That's my sensitive snowflake confession.
Do you have a cousin with?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say usually having a personal attachment quickly changes people's opinions on a lot of these types of subjects. So that's not surprising at all. Like how we see how sensitive conservatives are about bullying our kid about his voice. Yeah.
In any other context, I'd like tell my cousin to get over it and like stop being a victim and like it's not meant like that. But you can't ask that of a person without Down syndrome.
What's more too, and the hardest thing, and I do think there is a special carve out for the word retarded, but the hardest thing is that you know that even if you could tell your cousin that, the one thing that if you're a human being and you have any level of empathy, the thing that sucks is you don't want to attack somebody on a thing and think that somebody out there who might be a neutral party or even your own fan hears you say it and they feel just like kind of like a little bit shittier because they're like, oh fuck, like that kind of hurts that he said that. And it kind of
So why do you do it then? Why do you use it?
So I think that you can go back and forth on this. The only reason why I don't mind the word retarded as a slur is because now, depending on the woke circles you're in, people get real mad about this. Is I think being retarded is actually like a bad thing. Like nobody should want to be retarded. Like when you call somebody like gay slurs or whatever as an insult.
They're just neurodivergent.
Yeah.
TikTok told me that.
Generally, when you're using slurs, usually you're trying to give some normative badness to a thing that we probably shouldn't think is bad. So like racial slurs, the idea is that a race is bad. Homophobic or transphobic slurs, the idea that these things are bad. But for like retarded, I mean like the word retard is literally like delayed. Like it is a bad thing, or like calling somebody crippled or whatever. These are bad things. So I feel like in that sense, it's a little bit different than the other categories of things where it's like, well, we shouldn't see these as bad. But I'm still sympathetic to people that maybe get bothered by it. And I understand when I employ that kind of language, there are going to be some people that get turned off by it, and I just kind of accept that. But yeah, but I think it is a bit different.
Just because you come from gaming culture that you're so desensitized to it?
I've had to resensitize myself to all sorts of slurs coming from gaming culture, but dude, there's all sorts of things that we should say about that.
I started playing 2K with my cousins who were a little younger, so 16
Yeah.
and 17. And
Oh god, I hate these fucking boars.
People, like, it feels like it's still 2010 on it. Like, you have these children calling you F-slur and this and the N-word and all this stuff constantly, and they have a prepubescent voice you're hearing through their controller, and I'm like, oh?
Yeah.
And then they
Feels
also
weird,
have their
yeah.
avatars pop up, and they do face scans of Epstein, Charlie Kirk, and Diddy.
It's crazy, dude. The amount of
They're
the
so
memes that I get sent, but yeah,
desensitized.
it's insane. The meme culture and that,
What?
yeah, it's all just
One
it's
shot
insane.
at it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I see
One
some of
one
your
funny
Instagram
thing.
likes sometimes.
Don't worry about that, okay? I have to be a man of the people, okay? I will say one thing that is very weird to me, going back to the retarded thing. There's this weird, like, they call it the euphemistic treadmill, where one word is bad, so we switch to another word, and then that word becomes bad, etc., etc. I will say one thing that's kind of strange to me is the woke people decided that retarded is not good to use as an insult, and they don't even use retarded to describe people. They'll use neurodivergent, but then they'll use neurodivergent as an insult. And I'm like, well, what's the point of...
will they?
Yeah, that's like, this guy is like neurodivergent guys, or this guy, or they used to say, like, this guy like
well,
plays
then
with
that's gonna
trains or
become the
whatever.
same thing as
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, why are we even? What the fuck was the point then? To call him a fucking retard? Like, what are we doing here? Like, yeah, yeah. So what are you gonna do?
All right, cool. Looks like we're all set.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for the
I'll,
chat.
Message you with follow-up stuff.
Yeah. Have a good one, man. Be careful.
Bye.
That's CK guy. Dude, you can't talk to Trumples. You can't talk to Trumples these days. It's insane. It's impossible. The amount of like, it's just. I don't even know how you get your mind to organically work that way. I can't even. I can't even. I also like that of all the personal attacks this guy could have made on me, for some reason, he decides to go for the cheating personal attack? Unless, I don't know if it was about accusing me of cheating, or if he was gonna bring up, like, the Melina cuck thing. I don't even know what the angle he was going for there. I was like, what a weird thing to, of all the personal attacks to dig out, this is what we wanna, and it doesn't even make sense either. Like, well, I don't know, man. Yeah, Jesus.
this implied prescription without a clear prescription, if that makes
for national ambitions.
People are allowed to live with rights, safety, and
needs to win that argument. They need to win the argument that you have two choices. Either you're going to annex this territory, Gaza and the West Bank, in which case you have...
Well, again, uninformed, based on what you say it's not perpetual, but...
They should...
All right. I guess that's it. All right. Thanks for stopping by. On again tomorrow night. See you later.